Plumbers, delivery guys, doctors, or people in any other line of work usually portrayed in porn. What is the closest situation you have ever been to which could lead as an opening to a porn plot? I drive a truck for GFS and deliver frozen food. Had to deliver to a jail. They had about 12 women inmates working in the kitchen. A bunch of them start coming up to me and touching my arms and asking how I'm doing. I took the dolly into the freezer and one came in and shut the freezer door and asked if I ever messed around with anyone in a freezer before. A guard quickly came over and removed her and told her to get back to the cooking. You were about to get man. Did a 4-month stint as a GP, family doctor. A woman came in for an urgent appointment for irregular bleeding. After taking some history, I say I need to examine her. She said she was okay with a male doc, so I said something to the effect of just wait here while I get a chaperone. As I get up to leave, she holds her hand up, looks me dead in the eyes, and says, "Oh, don't worry, we won't be needing a chaperone." Turns out she was an off-duty police officer with a black belt in judo, and as she went behind the screen to undress, she said, "I'm more likely to hurt you than you will me." Most awkward examination of my entire career so far. Edit. For all those commenting below, I work in the UK. The GMC, our regulatory body, has clear guidance on the use of chaperones. They are not always mandatory if both parties are happy without them. Delivered pizza to a house in the suburbs on a Friday night. Door opens and this guy stuffs a $100 bill down my shirt. I'm female, was 18 at the time. I stand there in shock as one of his buddies comes over to grab him and apologizes over and over. Guy was drunk and apparently thought I was a stripper. The other guys in the house are playing poker. I tried to return the money, but the buddy told me to keep it and said they'd tell him the story in the morning and make fun of him for it. Was a plumber for a long time. A few years ago on Christmas Day I had a call for a gas leak. When my partner and I arrived, the lady admitted there was no gas leak. She said she just wanted some company. So she paid the service fee for us to sit there for an hour and talk with her over coffee. Turns out she was a romance novel writer and was extremely lonely. I got some weird vibes, like she wanted more from us, but nothing happened aside from the conversation. When we were leaving, she tipped us $100. It was the coolest / most awkward experience of my plumbing career. Not me directly, but my co-worker at a pizza place I delivered for during college, in a college city that is open very late. Some woman called in and ordered some food, was told the wait was going to be closer to an hour. This was pretty normal once the bars in town closed. She told the guy on the phone that if the pizza was there in 20 minutes she would the delivery driver. Of course this guy thinks it is hilarious and tells the manager. Manager decides to prioritize the delivery and send the one older married dude that delivered for us and not tell him what the situation is. The driver comes back white as a ghost and immediately says, "Y'all will never believe what just happened." Everyone dies laughing because we know he is a good dude and would never cheat on his wife. But apparently this super attractive, clothed, college-aged girl answered the door and said something along the lines of, "Well, you made it in time. Let's." Driver obviously has no idea what is going on and just awkwardly blurts out he is married, asks her to sign the receipt and dips out. Smart on the manager for sending that guy. Any college-aged guy working there would have probably taken her up on her offer. We all got a good laugh and the chick got her pizza in 20 minutes. Lots of good stories from that job. Manager blocks every delivery guy's opportunity. An MD that I work with told me a story about his rotation with an OB/GYN. It was a male doctor and this one patient was always awkward to deal with. So my coworker goes in before the doc to update the patient history. He was a resident at the time and thinks she seems like a pretty normal middle-aged lady. A few minutes later the doc knocks on the door and enters the room. But he has brought 3 female nurses with him. Usually it is just one. The lady gets all flushed and smiles at the doctor and mentions that it has been too long since my last visit. The doc is very polite and goes over what they will be doing. She was already in the stirrups, covered by a gown. Just a routine pap smear and examination. So he goes over to the patient and lifts up the gown just a little bit, and when he does the lady lets out this soft sexual sigh. The doc looks over at the nurses, as if to say you're seeing this right. As he approaches with the speculum he can see that she is sopping wet and engorged. Within seconds of the speculum entering the vaginal canal, this woman is moaning and squirming on the table. The doc asks her to please be very still, and she replies with "Okay, I'll do my best, doctor," in an overly sexual way, while still panting and making a bunch of small grunting noises. Halfway through the exam she is gripping the table and starts to have orgasmic contractions, and everyone in the room is just staring at each other trying their best to remain professional. After he got the sample and removed the speculum he hurriedly said, "Okay, that's it, we are all finished," and she replied, "Yeah, thank you so much, doctor." His name. I asked my coworker if this happened often, and he said that he never saw anyone else do something like that. Apparently the lady refused to see anybody else in the practice, but they didn't want to fire her as a patient because then she might make a big deal about it, or worse, try to blame him for making sexual advances. Other than that, she was an easy patient to deal with, so they just got the examination over with as fast as they could and sent her on her way. I delivered pizza for a year. Every Friday night this dude ordered a chicken parm sub, and he would answer the door in just a t-shirt and underwear. Every single time. I wasn't the only delivery guy, but somehow every Friday night at 9:30, I'd hear I was delivering a chicken parm, and I didn't even have to look at the address. Anyways, he had a farrit, and one time it crawled up my leg and onto my back, and Captain Underpants says, "Oh you, she likes you." And all I could think was, this seems like the beginning to a kinky. I used to work in a hotel, frequently doing room service. One late night order came in for a bottle of wine and one glass. Upon delivering it, the lady tipped me generously and asked if I fancied sticking around for a bit and patted the bed next to her. If she was 10 years younger and we weren't so busy that night, I may have considered it. I was working as a doctor in an R&D department. Guy comes in with testicle pain, possible torsion. As one of 2 male doctors in the department at the time, I was sent to examine him. After a quick chat, I have to get to business and examine his balls. Thankfully for him, everything was normal. But during the exam he gets a little excited. I'm professional and just ignore it, but as part of the exam you have to look at their face to see if they are in pain. I notice the guy is actually grinning at me as he gets hard. It was literally something out of delivered pizzas, and the instructions were the door will be unlocked, please bring into bedroom down the hallway. I asked the manager, "Oh, you've never delivered to her? She is bedridden. Her caretaker must not be there. She is awesome. Don't forget plates and napkins." I'm a doctor, and during my rotation in psychiatry, when I was a fresh graduate, I had to take a history from a lady patient with erotomania. She was lying on the bed while I walked in her room, but halfway through the conversation she changed her posture to be something similar to Rose in the drawing scene in Titanic, asking me personal questions and intentionally showed me her cleavage. She also accidentally touched my thigh. Being a professional doctor, I continued taking history without any impure thoughts. I understand that is wrong to have any form of relationship with my patients, and I will definitely not take advantage of my patient's mental illness for my personal satisfaction. Delivery guy here 3x flashed by pervy men in bathrobes saying whoops while staring into my eyes. Not my thing. Countless women that flash a little when answering the door. I assume a small percentage are exhibitionists and most are just running late. I politely avert my eyes and give them their lunch. And then there's my boo. She orders often, always answers in a really small towel and always drops it a bit. She giggles when she drops the towel and it's really hard for me to not look. Distracts me for hours every time. I'm a plumber who does lots of maintenance in large apartment blocks throughout the city. Often the tenants aren't there during the day, so we call them, arrange a time, and pick up a set of keys to their apartment from head office. I've got a job to fix a leaky shower head. Pretty basic stuff. I get the keys, go up to the apartment and loudly knock on the door. No answer after 10 seconds, so I slowly and loudly insert the key into the door, alter procedure. I open the door and walk my tools in when I notice 2 young women completely stark nude in the kitchen. They seem as shocked as I am, and after a split second I apologize red-faced and back out. I call the number 1 was given on the work order, and one of the women answer. Apparently they were expecting someone else, and the shower is fine. I think they were expecting a guy to come in, since the bloke who works the phone for my company has a pretty attractive voice. There aren't many female plumbers like me either. Hello, help us grow for everyday videos. Subscribe, hit the bell button, like, comment, and share with your friends.